Hello, this is Crazy Six with DeepBrain Chain, doing a series of videos on governance within the blockchain. But before I get started, I just want to give a little shout out to dbc.network. The things we covered today are in the wiki on dbc.network. You can find them in detail with step-by-step instructions on most things you can do at dbcwallet.io. So to dive in, there are several available tabs under governance. This video is going to focus on referenda under democracy. So referendum are calls that can be executed that make changes to the blockchain and how it runs. These can be submitted by anybody that's holding tokens and willing to lock the minimum amount and are voted on by the community. So under referenda, you can see the one that's being voted on right now, and currently only one can be voted on per launch period, which is a 28-day period, is in an approval state. Referenda has to be approved by a supermajority, unless they go through the council, which we'll cover in a little bit. So a referenda starts off as a proposal. There's only one selected per launch period, and it's whichever one has the most DBC bonded to it. So we have to stake coins for the proposals we care about, and they become referenda for the next launch period. And then everybody that holds coins can vote on them. The supermajority, check dbc.network. It explains it in more detail, but basically, the less people that vote, the bigger the majority has to be. And the more people that hold coins that show up and vote, that majority lessens and makes the ability to pass a little bit easier. But we have to have people come out and vote. So currently this proposal, or this referendum that's in progress, is passing with 28.8 million DBC that voted for it and 130,000 that voted against it. Now there is a level of conviction. If we expand the vote against, you can see that it's actually 30,000 and 1.2 million, but the conviction's 0.1x. The reason this is because if you vote with a conviction of 0.1x, your tokens do not get locked. And if you look at the votes for, there are some 0.1x's, but there's also a lot of 1x. That means the tokens that voted for at a 1x conviction locked their coins for 30 days. They wanted this to pass. They were willing to lock their coins for 30 days. They can't transfer them to another account. They can't send them to an exchange because they want to lock those for this referendum to pass. There's also longer. If you just click vote, you can vote for it. You can decide how many of your coins you want to contribute to the vote, or actually, I should say, to bond to the vote. It doesn't. It only locks them for that length of time. These can also be coins that you're staking. You don't have to have different coins to vote with, different coins to stake with, and you choose your conviction. As I mentioned, 1x is for 30 days. If you do 2x, let's say you have 1 million coins, that means your 1 million coins now earned 2 million votes because you locked them for 60 days and got 2x the voting power. And then you can go all the way to 6x. You can lock your coins for 960 days, and your 1 million coins gets you 6 million votes for whichever way you want to vote on something. Obviously, you'd have to really care about that referendum to lock your coins for 960 days. But this actual referendum is for opening the swap, the coin swap, which ended and several people missed, and we've been voting on opening it for a week. And if you expand, you can see a few more details. In this one, you can just see that it's a Treasury proposal, and it's proposal ID 15. Go ahead and watch the Treasury video that is going to come out about the same time as this one, and it will better explain how you can track down what those proposals are about and how those work. So if you want to submit your own proposal that can become a referendum, first you're going to start with the preimage. The preimage is a call, it's called an extrinsic, that makes the change in the system. And as an example, we can go to staking. And first we're going to look at cancel deferred /. There's all kinds of calls that can be made. Go to dbc.network. There's links in there that give more information about the different calls. The cancel deferred slash, the idea here is it targets a single era or day that slashes may have occurred. So if, for example, several validators went down on the same era, then it's possible that they all would have been slashed and the nominators on those validators would have been slashed. The system would consider multiple validators, let's say 5 validators going down in the same era, as an attack on the system. Now, maybe it's one entity that's running 5 validators and their whole system went down, or maybe it's just a coincidence and 5 unrelated validators went down at the same time. Nonetheless, they can get slashed. And if those validators did get slashed and the nominators that are on those validators got slashed, it's possible that the community might look at that and say, this was a one-time kind of weird mishap, and we don't want to slash them. So when they're slashed, it's in a deferred state until it's executed. So the community can submit a proposal that cancels the slash. So by canceling the deferred slash, we'll put the era in here, and you'll want to make sure you save this pre-image hash. This is very important. If you don't save this, you might have to resubmit your pre-image to get a new hash. And you click submit pre-image. Each call has different information that you would send along with it. For example, we could go down and let's just look for a different one, like set validator count. Right now there are 41 validators in any given era. We could submit a pre-image that changes that number. We could add more or subtract or whatever that may be. And then we would save that pre-image hash and submit the pre-image. So once the pre-image is submitted, then you can create a proposal from it. So you click submit proposal and you paste in your pre-image hash. Decide which one of your accounts, if you have multiple ones, you're going to do this from. And you are required to lock a minimum of 10,000 DBC. The more you lock, the more likely you'll be able to get your proposal in as a referendum. At the moment, there are not a lot of competing proposals, but if there are many people that want to submit proposals and make changes, there's only one per launch period that can become a referendum. And the one with the most coins bonded to it is the one that's going to make it. So then you would submit this. When you submit that, it shows up under this proposal list. And over at the right, it shows how many coins are locked to it. And then you can compare it to other proposals. And then there's also a button to second the proposal. So if somebody else submits a proposal I like, I can click second and lock my coins to it as well. That means it will have more coins locked and be more likely to become the next referendum during the next launch period. Then finally, there's external proposals. Those are pre-images that went through the council. You can also watch the video on council. I'll put links in the description of this video so you can see where those are. And a pre-image that becomes a proposal through the council has a lesser pass requirement. As I mentioned before, there's a super majority required to pass a referendum that goes through the normal proposal method. One that went through the council can require a lesser majority or just a majority, meaning you could have 28 million against and 28 million and 1 for, and it would pass. But that requires the council to pass it first and then the community to vote on it. That is how the democracy tab works with referendum. Be sure to check out dbc.network for more information. One more little thing. If you are submitting a referenda that you think needs more details to get votes, you can go to Reddit to the DBC Council page and submit a post with the description of what that proposal is offering. Just make sure you title it something like democracy proposal. These other ones are treasury proposals, so you'll want to make sure you specify that this is a democracy proposal. This is Crazy 6. We'll see you next time.